Peugeot 306 MAXI EVO 3. That's what we're going to be looking at. I think it's about time to start getting into Peugeots. I don't know really anything about them other than certain clips I've seen. They look pretty cool. And then yesterday we did some strange and bizarre cars found in rally, and we found some interesting ones. Peugeots that were featured looked amazing. In particular, these Peugeot 306s. These things are awesome. So I had to see more. Luckily on Discord, Tom suggested this, so thank you. And this is from Maucho Racing. We'll be looking at just a few minutes of this. You can watch the whole thing linked in the description, and definitely check out their channel. Let's see this thing. Let's turn it up. Hell yeah. So this thing, of course, has had an amazing rally presence in decades past. Still has some HillClimb presence as well. So I'd say that's pretty awesome. And supposedly, I've been told that this thing revs over 10,000 RPM, which is amazing. Oh, okay, I freaking love that, especially about hatchbacks. Look, you got to keep in mind, even though I'm like, an American into big trucks, I've been into big trucks, I've had big trucks, of course, muscle cars, what American doesn't love muscle cars, of course I'm into that stuff. But keep in mind, one of my first cars that I had so much fun in and I still miss to this day was like this. It was a 89 Honda Civic Si hatchback. And so, I know hatchbacks, we don't get as many choices as you get in other countries, but we still have some good ones. And that is one of the best ones you could have gotten in the 80s, I feel like. And that car was just so fun. It wasn't, a million horsepower. It wasn't, super fast, but it was so fun to drive. It felt like you were going fast. It handled so well. It was so light. It had no power steering. It was a manual transmission, right? Like, this thing was so fun. And that's what I'm seeing here. Although this thing, a lot of the hatchbacks that I see throughout Europe are actually really cool. Citroen, Peugeot, Seat, Skoda, like all these different looking hatchbacks. And I'm sure there's way more, by the way. But these Peugeots are just mysterious to me because I just know nothing about them. And this one just looks so mean. It's low and super wide looking. And it's like, dare I say, kind of like, probably the wrong word, but it doesn't look, like an Econobox. It looks like exotic, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's cool. And, of course, with hatchbacks, that short wheelbase, you get them handling really good with some tight suspension and sticky tires. Look at this thing lifting up the rear on the turns. That is so cool, dude. Right there. What a beast. That thing is fun to drive, man. And this is front wheel drive? Look at that thing go! Hell yeah! Damn, dude! It's a very confident driver as well. Look at this thing go! Look at the speed! Damn. No, that's show appreciation for that right there. Look, typically as car guys, maybe this is only my perspective, but typically as car guys, it's like, that the preferred car, right? A driver's car would be something like, powerful 6-cylinder, preferably like a V8 rear-wheel drive. That's like your quintessential car, right? Because rear-wheel drive, it's predictable, and you can slide it, you can drift it, and I don't know, it's just something about the dynamics, right? It's like, the perfect car spec. But to be fair, I mean, you should embrace all different types of cars, right? And all-wheel drive can be fun, of course, for obvious reasons. But front-wheel drive can even be fun. This is an athletic car. It's quick. It can get going. It handles really well. And what's crazy is with front wheel drive, you can actually have some fun. Yeah, it's totally different than rear wheel drive. Has some, some advantages, of course, some disadvantages. But look at this. Let's like analyze this. This is something you could only do, at least in this style, in a front wheel drive car. You can even do this on a video game. You can truly whip a car around, like the ass end completely around in a front wheel drive car. And if you're in something powerful, you can pull it through and correct yourself. Now, if this car was this sideways in rear wheel drive, this thing's coming all the way around, you're spun out. In an all wheel drive car, it would react weird. You might be able to save it, but it's going to take more distance and it's going to go in the bushes over here or something, right? But this thing is literally whipped around fast and pulls itself out in a straight line with front wheel drive. That's what's fun about front wheel drive. You can do some crazy shit. You see that? If you want to get technical, you might have lost a little bit of speed because it does like a hiccup or a hesitation, and you saw the smoke. It gets that wheel spin. But the point is, it corrects itself straight. You could just have some fun with it, right? Even if it's front wheel drive. So yeah, this is a fun car, 100%. God, that thing sounds good too. I have no idea what engine we're running. Obviously a 4-cylinder. As to what one and what displacement, I have no idea. Don't know if it's boosted or not. It almost sounds like it's naturally aspirated. It screams. I'm almost thinking it is. Or, the title up here says Pure Sounds 9,800 RPM. So if this thing's pushing 10,000 RPM, I'm almost going to lean towards this being naturally aspirated. But in that case, what a fun car then. Because even though boost is awesome, superchargers, turbochargers, they're all awesome. And they have their own fun. But there's something really pure and satisfying about a high revving, naturally aspirated motor that you can have some fun with. Damn. Look at this terrain, by the way. I'm guessing we're in Spain because, his car had the plate with the E for España, right? So I think we're in Spain. It kind of looks like it. It's beautiful, by the way. There we go. There's another angle. How freaking cool is that, dude? You got a round of applause from everybody. This is a fun car, I'm telling you. Ooh, he corrected it. Now, see, on the flip side, you could also get some trouble in front-wheel drive. He got it loose, and then it kind of did the whole wheel spin thing, and it ended up plowing. You see, it almost plowed its way out of the turn into the rough there, and he was obviously able to correct it. But, yeah, I just love this thing. I love the vibe of this thing, the sound, the look, the stance. It's super freaking cool, and I've been sleeping on Peugeot, man. In diving into rally, I haven't really paid attention to Peugeot yet, and I feel like I'm definitely late to the game here. They're freaking cool. I can't believe we don't have these in the U.S. I'm going to assume, it's actually tricky because it was before my time, but of course, hearing from relatives and stuff and other car people here, we did have Peugeot in the U.S. They did sell cars here, but this was like the 70s into the early 80s or something. I think by the early 90s or mid-90s at the latest, Peugeot was out. They were gone from the U.S. So I don't know what it is. I'm guessing it's, a mixture of, market. Like they don't know if they can cut into the market here, brand recognition combined with safety standards, emission standards. There's always like a bunch of reasons why someone might be, pull out of a market and never be back there. So I'm sure it's some boring reason like that, but yeah, the point is we don't have them, and it is bizarre. Although they do have them in, I believe, like Central and South America, because even neighboring Mexico does get Peugeots. I'm very sure they do. I think so, because remember, I used to live in basically the borderplex, which is like the Texas, New Mexico, and then Mexico border. So Texas, New Mexico, Mexico. And so if you were in New Mexico or you were in Texas, as I was, we used to see cars from Mexico every day, right? That cross the border. And so if you're in El Paso, you can see some interesting cars. And I do remember seeing Peugeots, which of course I'm aware enough to know that Peugeot existed. I just don't know much about them, right? But I do remember seeing that famous logo on some cars with Mexican plates and thinking, wow, that's weird, like we don't get those here. But I never looked into it. So this is going to be the start of a series where I do start learning about them. And, the car, we could say the car that pulled me in is this Peugeot 306. This thing is freaking cool. So if I look up Peugeot 306, let's just go to good old Wiki. We get a bunch of info at once, take it or leave it, right? It was a small French car from Peugeot from 93 to 02. Okay, so they don't even make it anymore. It replaced the 305. Peugeot gave the 306 many changes. It was replaced by the 307 in 2001. Okay, so let's look at what the 307 looks like real quick. A little more boring. I like the 306 better. Yeah, the 306 just, I don't know. I love the way it looks. These were made everywhere. Various places in Europe, the Americas, Africa, Asia. So I'm guessing this car was sold in tons and tons and tons of countries, just not here in the U.S. Now here's something interesting. It says mechanically the 306 is virtually identical to the Citroen ZX, which was launched 2 years before the 306. Look at that. Ooh, that is weird looking. Now I do love Citroen. In the very little I know about them, I have learned about some older ones, and I do love Citroen for their, boldness. They're unique. They're different. They're bizarre, right? So I'm not ripping on this one. But, yeah, I'm going to take the 306 in this matchup. I think 306 looks much better in this particular instance. But, yeah, there's like the Phase 1, which would have been 93 to 99. And then Phase 2. Even the Phase 2 looks okay. I think I like the Phase 1 a little better. And if I'm getting this right, that HillClimb car we just saw had to have been a 306 Phase 1, correct? I'm pretty sure if we look at the taillights and stuff. So even the basic road car looks kind of cool, right? I don't mind it at all. It's, of course, a lot more boring than the rally car and HillClimb models, but it still looks all right. This would be a great commuter car, But yeah, done up, dressed up, jazzed up, whatever. They look pretty sharp, in my opinion. They really do. They also made a 306 sedan. That's interesting as well. I don't know. I think it's because, like, when you see cars that you never had access to, they have more of a, I don't know, like a mystique about them. They have like a factor about them that is attractive, right? So some people might look at these, especially maybe if you're in Europe and you're like, oh, I hate those, or oh, I don't care about those. Those are cheap used cars, like no one cares, right? But for some reason, to me, I'm like over here like, this would be cool. Like I would love to import one of these, Like it's weird, right? It's weird how that works. But yeah, I've never seen these, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like it. I like this car. Of course, as an American, very interesting to read that these came in petrol and diesel, right? Every hatchback here is pretty much always going to be either a hybrid or, petrol, right? We just don't do the diesel thing here, with the exception of you can get some, I think you can get some BMWs in the U.S. market in diesels, and I think you can get some Volkswagens in diesel as well, but they're still pretty rare, right? We tend to only buy diesels if they're in a huge, 3/4 ton pickup truck, which is bizarre because these diesel cars get such amazing mileage, and I feel like in a hatchback like this, if you have a diesel and a manual transmission in a simple hatchback like this, I feel like that's the ultimate daily driver. The thing probably gets amazing mileage, and I feel like it'd be very reliable too. Like, how do you beat that? And then if we go to images, you see a little more variety. You see like the sedan. You see some, in different trim levels and such. Of course, you see some rally ones, and look at that. I mean, this is just such a freaking cool car, dude. These are really cool. Like, these are growing on me so fast. Look at the stance of that thing. Does that say Sebastian Loeb? Oh, my God. Well, it must be a legendary car then. Look at that one. Like, what the hell? Is this in Dirt Rally? I hope this is in Dirt Rally 2.0. As you may know, if you've seen my channel at all, I just started playing it, and I do feature it in videos. Planning on featuring it in this one, but I think I should have, because if this is in Dirt Rally 2.0, which I think it is, oh my God, that looks like the Dirt Rally 2.0. See? Oh my God, if this is in there, then I need to drive that ASAP, dude. Look at that thing. Oh my God, I love rally cars. I could look at these all day. They're freaking cool. Seeing all the different versions. Look at that over the top with the French flag in the wheels. What on earth? That's actually kind of cool, not gonna lie. You know, seeing these kind of inspired me too. People have mentioned this, I never thought about till right now for some reason when I'm seeing these. They do make rally RC cars, don't they? I'm thinking I need to pick one up. I'm thinking if I'm gonna say Merry Christmas to myself. Might be a good idea, huh? And would you look at that? Remember, we can import cars to the U.S. As long as they're 25 years old or older. Then you can import it from basically anywhere. There is one on Car Gurus. I think this is current. And this is from Florida. A 95 Peugeot 306. Look at it. It's going for just under $9,000 US. Which I never know, like, I guess that's not too bad, right? Price of cars is weird lately. Like, I don't know whether to say, like, oh, that's kind of expensive or that's cheap, right? Because, of course, this is unique and rare here. So that's got to have a factor in the price. But then again, it is just like a, almost 30-year-old hatchback. So, like, should this be like $3 or $4 grand? Or is it worth, almost 10 grand? I don't know. Maybe you could tell me your opinion on that. I'm assuming this would probably go for much cheaper in Europe, right? Where this is just another Peugeot. Whereas here it's like something that stands out. But anywho, it is cool. I mean, look at that. It's in good shape. Kind of got that wild look like I like. This is an XSI. Don't know anything about the trim levels, but I'm assuming this must be somewhat of a sporty trim. It looks sharp. It is a manual, which I love that. And yeah, it's got a little wear and tear in the seats and stuff, but nothing crazy. I mean, it's in generally good shape, it looks like. I'm telling you what, guys, one of these days, these videos keep doing good, I would love to just surprise everyone with importing some random car from somewhere, right? Like, imagine if I purchased this. Like, I could totally see myself buying this. Well, that's going to do it for this one. Peugeot 306, my first dive into Peugeot. It might be totally random. I'm sure they make tons and tons and tons of different models. And, well, now you can flood me with suggestions, ideas, stories, or, just shout out yourself if you have a Peugeot and daily drive it, or you have a collectible one, or whatever the case is. I would love to hear about it. I'm very intrigued of the brand as a whole. But, yeah, I'm definitely an instant fan of the Peugeot 306. I like it. Throw a like on there if you enjoyed this. Subscribe to be part of this amazing community we do have here. Keep your awesome suggestions coming. Click that join button to become a member for super cheap. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker, and until next time, y'all, catch you later.